Hey guys, today I'm here for a 7 on Sunday. So 7 on Sunday was created by Grace over at G Swizzle, and I'll link her down below. But basically you just have to pick 7 of your favorite or least favorite of a certain topic, and you get the topics once a month and you get a different topic every week. It is a very fun thing to do, and I love making it as a video format, and I love just talking about all the different topics, and she does pick some really good ones that are just really fun to find books that work for it. So this week we are talking about Latinx books. I hope I'm saying that right, Latinx, but basically you're gonna either do book recommendations or books that you want to read. And I feel really bad that I haven't read that many books written by Latin authors, because I couldn't really give you any recommendations, and I need to step up my game by trying to read more. So I'm actually going to be giving you a list of 7 that I want to try and read in the future, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but what's exciting for me is 4 of these books are actually on audio for me. So I'm planning on putting these 4 books more closer to in my list of what I want to listen to, and I've added them in because I searched for all of them, because I haven't really been buying books at the moment because they're too expensive, but also like the will to read is not completely there. But I am keen for these books, and I think they're going to be really good reads, and I just hope that I eventually read them at some point. Like, I've got no time limit on this, but I know that I definitely want to read them at some point in my life. So the first one is We Set the Dark on Fire by Tila K. Mengia. I've butchered that completely, but I am keen for this book. And the thing that really got to me is it's kind of like The Handmaid's Tale. So I have watched the first season of that show, and I started watching the second season, but I haven't gotten too much further because I was watching it on TV, but then I missed an episode, but then I bought it on DVD. But now that we have Netflix, it's not a pressing show for us to watch. But I did really enjoy the show, even though it's really bad. But in this story, there's a school that girls have to go to, and they can only have one of 2 job roles, which is cleaning a house or bearing children. So that is all women are worth in this society. And like, our main character Daniela is like the top of the school, but her pedigree has been like a big lie, and she's got this big secret of revolving around her, but she's just trying to kind of stay under the radar even though she's at the top of the school. But then this rebel alliance group wants her to spy on the school for them, so she's got to kind of like make this decision. But it's very interesting a book to see those societies where women are not worth anything, but then you get these kick-ass women that are going to rebel and like kill all the people, and it's always such a great storyline, and I'm just very keen. And this is one of the ones on audio, and I definitely think this is going to be the book I listen to next after I finish my current read, and I'm very excited. The next book I want to read is Don't Date Rosa Santos, and this one is by Nina Monero, and I've been seeing this on Scribd for like the past year, but I've never saved it or picked it up. But the cover is very nice. Like, I like the wave, and I like how she's standing there, and it looks very appealing, but it's never been one that I've fully picked up. But reading the synopsis and also knowing that this is by a Latinx author, I was very keen. It seems our main character Rosa is being cursed by the sea, so that anyone that is involved with sea and boats should not date her because of this like somewhat curse. So I don't know if this is going to be like a magical realism story or just a cute contemporary. And she's also got the decisions of college looming on the horizon, and she's also got her abuela and her mother with completely conflicting ideas of what they want her to do with her life. And her abuela is like this pillar of the community, and her mother has been in and out of her life for so long that she doesn't know really what to trust here. But then a mysterious boy named Alex Aquinio comes in, and he's got all these tats of the sea, and he's just this mysterious, like, seems like going to be the love interest is going to kind of get introduced here. But I feel like this is going to be a very interesting story, and from the synopsis it's not giving me too much, but I'm very intrigued because I'm like here for this kind of like curse of the story, like what's this going to be about and what's it going to mean, and I just want to see what's going to happen to her because it sounds like it's going to be really cool. Okay, the next one on my list is Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Imbeniza. I feel like I'm butchering all of these names, but I'm also googling the premise so I actually can give you the information that you guys need, because obviously I looked at these premises and I was very excited, but I forget things very quickly when I haven't actually read the book, so bear with me. But this is one that I've been seeing since it was featured either in a Fairy Lit or an Owl Crate, but the cover is just to die for, and I knew I wanted to read this, but when I found out again that it's by a Latin author, I was like, yes, I'm keen. I need to do this. I need to branch out of my diverse reading, and I'm very keen for this. But basically the main character is Eximira, and she is a decoy condescender So basically I think she's like a stand-in for the like princess of one of these realms. And there's another character, Acto, who has been using this ancient relic to summon ghosts, and he's been like kind of taking control, but then he wants to take her hand in marriage, so they send the decoy in, and she's trying to find the relic, and she has the power to weave Moonlight, and she weaves it into tapestries to like get out messages. But basically she's been trained to protect the princess in her stead for her whole life, and now she's going into enemy territory. And I think it sounds like it's going to be like a really interesting story, and it's got like a lot of magical vibes about it, and I'm keen. It's just all the character names, I don't think I'll be able to pronounce any of them. The next book I want to read is This Train Is Being Held by Ismay Emile Williams, and this is another one that's on script that I've been seeing around, but I haven't made that final step to actually like save it, but I'm keen now. Isabel and Alex are our main characters, and basically this book takes place on a train, and like over 3 years they keep meeting each other on this train, and they like learn about each other's struggles and about their lives and everything. And I just think it sounds really interesting, because obviously it's going to be kind of that misconnections kind of idea as well, because they're not going to know much about each other from like surface level, but they're going to probably get really deep with each other. Alex is having a lot of struggles with his father, who is bent on him being a contender for like major leagues, but he just wants to go to college and be a poet. And then for Isabel, she has an unstable mother and someone who is prejudiced against Latino men. It seems like they're going to overcome a lot of stuff together, and it's just going to be a cute romance, but it also could end up that they help each other but then they like part ways. Like, I don't know, but it's very intriguing to me, and there's a lot going on that I think will interest me with this story. Okay, the next book I'm intrigued by is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. So this actually is a book that's in verse, so that's something that I'm a bit hesitant about, because I don't really read books in verse, but I also want to like try it more, because I have a couple on my shelf and I have read a few, but like they read well, but I'm just not into like poetry, and verse is similar to poetry in my mind. But this one does have a really interesting premise, because the main characters are Camino and Yaharia, and they share the same father, but they both didn't realize there was another family. But there's this big like plane attack, and their father dies, and then they think they've lost everything, but then they realize that they have a piece of their father in each other, and I think they're gonna have like an interesting like friendship. And one of the girls lives in the Dominican Republic and the other one lives in New York City, so obviously they're gonna have different ideals and different lives, and I just think it sounds very intriguing. And I know that it was kind of featured in the reading rush, because a lot of people were talking about this book, and I think since then I've been intrigued by it, and I was glad that I finally sat down and actually looked at the premise and looked at what it was about. And it's definitely one that I want to add to my TBR, because it just sounds really interesting. Okay, another book that I'm really intrigued to read is Nocturia by Maya Montinea, and this is another one that I'm pretty sure was featured in Fairyloot, but I don't know if Our Crate did it as well, or it was Our Crate. But I see things in book boxes and then I get intrigued by the books, but I haven't actually bought any book boxes anymore, because I am finding they kind of are a waste of money, and a lot of the Our Crate and Fairyloot ones are special editions now, so like it doesn't help when it doesn't match when the sequels come out. So I just have stopped buying book boxes, because I can just save my money for other things that I like will actually need. But Nocturia is one that I definitely saw, and it was something that seemed really interesting, but it also seemed like such a high fantasy that I wasn't for me at the time when I first saw it. But like, I don't even know if it's something I'm going to read now, or I probably will wait a little bit, but it seems like it's going to be really cool. And it's set in a Latinx-inspired world, and it says that it's a face-changing thief and a risk-taking prince must team up to defeat a powerful evil they accidentally unleash. So the girl character is Finn, and she has, obviously, she seems to like murder people, but she also can change her face, and she hasn't seen her real face for many years. But then she gets captured by a mobster, and she's like forced into this mission to steal some legendary treasure, or they're going to take her powers from her. And then we've got the Prince Alfie, and his older brother has died, and he doesn't know if he can like take over the throne, so he's trying to find magic to bring his dead brother back. But then they both like come together at the same time, and they unleash some like really bad evil, so they've got to team up to like kind of stop it. And there seems like there's going to be like a lot of magic, a lot of things going on. And the second book is coming out at the end of 2020, so only the first book is out for the moment, but it's probably a good time to try and read it if I can get to it. But it's hard to buy things at the moment, so I again don't know when it's going to happen. And the last book that I'm extremely intrigued by is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, and this one has only just come out, and it's also on script, so I am very keen to listen to this one as well. And this is one that I saw the cover and I was just like, oh, what's this going to be about, cemetery? And I didn't really think much of it, but then more recently I've been looking at this again, and I'm like, this is really intriguing. So when it's a Latin one, I'm so keen I get to talk about in this video because I am very keen. Like, definitely after We Set the Dark on Fire, I'm gonna be listening to this one because it sounds really, really good. So our main character is Yadriel, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. He has been having a lot of trouble getting his family to accept the gender that he wants to be, and he wants to really prove himself to be a real Brujo. I'm so bad with butchering these things, and I'm so sorry if I'm actually saying any of this wrong. But basically, to prove himself, he wants to bring back his cousin's ghost to try and figure out who murdered him. And then what happens is he accidentally summons the bad boy, Julian Diaz, who does not want to go quietly into death, and he summoned him and he won't go back. But basically, he wants to figure out what happened to him and how he died. And Yadriel reluctantly is going to help him, but then over the course of time and them knowing each other, I think they're gonna like fall in love. And I am keen because this just sounds like it's going to be so good and I just love it. But having some trans rep in this book as well, I think it's going to be really, really good, and also probably to see the family dynamics and just see the magic. And I'm just very keen. Like, just reading the synopsis again, it's just making me very excited. So guys, that is all the Latinx books that are going to be on my TBR hopefully for the next little while. Like, at least the audiobooks I should get to quickly enough if I like listen to them one after another, because Script was really good last year. Like, there was so many books on there that I was so keen to read, but I feel like this year they've been taking quite a lot of the really popular ones that I would have wanted to listen to, and they're taking them away from me. But 4 out of the 7 of my list are on audio, and I'm going to definitely try and listen to them soon. Like, the one that I'm listening to at the moment, I'm going through spurts where I really want to listen to it, but then I don't, and I just listen to music on the way to work because I have a 20-minute drive, and that does end up adding up. Like, if I do 40 minutes every day of driving, like, that's a good chunk of an audiobook to listen to when I do listen to it. But it just depends on my mood, and I'll just have to see how I go, but definitely keen for some of these to read soon enough. But anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!